Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm coming to you from the floor of my office, and the boys have decided they want in this one because this is a new concept. I do not film from this area because I get covered up. Okay, so now they're knocking over my books. Okay, so as you can see from the title, this is my wrap up for January. So I'm going to start with what I forgot to post on the TBR for February. I forgot to post my book cover. You are panting awfully loud. I'm sure they can all hear it. I needed to show this bluish green that I used on this cover to complement the brown that I was using on the book that I'm reading for Chantel's Readathon. But I read The Labors of Hercules by Agatha Christie. I finished it on the 1st. I started it on the 1st. It was like a one-sitting read for me. Easy to read. I love Agatha Christie. It was my first read of the year. It's funny because, would you stop? It's funny because my first book last year that I finished was an Agatha Christie book. So I gave this 4 stars, and it was about, he's ready to take his final bow, but he's going to complete 12 tasks. And he calls them the labors of Hercules. So I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. And I enjoy all of Agatha Christie's. I love her as a writer. This is going to be really difficult. Okay, so the next one I read was, I'm not sure what I read it for. Would you sit down? Sit down. You can't get by me. Okay, I read this for Ring in the New Books, which was hosted by Bethany Brings Books and Paperbacks and Ponytails. I read Cape Refuge by Terry Blackstock. I have decided I really like this author, and I'm going to continue this series. I have the second one already. This was Ring in the New Year with a new series, so I started this series. Really enjoyed this book. It was about a couple that was murdered, and they were people that were running a home for those who had gotten out of prison and were trying to get their life back on track. And they were really repentant of their, what they had done. And so they had been really successful, but they end up murdered. And they have 2 daughters, and one of them is married, and it looks like the husband has committed the crime. He is, and I'm sorry if you can hear him breathing. He's not going to go anywhere because he's afraid the other 2 will come over. But he's either committed the crime or being framed. So this was a great read. I gave it, I believe, 4 stars. Yes, I gave it 4 stars. I did. It's February 1st, by the way, and I am uploading my February TBR right now. So I thought I'd go ahead and record this one. The next one I'm going to put up here on above my shoulder to cover up these messy books. I read Inside Out and Back Again. I gave this 4 stars. This was about a refugee. As it's a middle grade. It was in verse. It was a really quick read. I would suggest it. I've read it before. Her dad is missing in action, and they escape with her uncle. It's her mom, her brother, I think, I can't remember if she has two brothers or if it's just one brother. Maybe it's just her brother, and her mom. But it was a really good read too. They come to the United States and she begins school in the United States. She doesn't know English, so she has to learn English, and she's bullied and made fun of, and so it's a really touching story. All right, the next one that I read, that one I read for read a book featuring a new theme, new beginnings, new hope, and that was for new beginnings. So, and I also, when I played the game, it was a story featuring a refugee. Then I read Love Comes Softly by Jeanette Oak, which was my read for Oshina's Christian Romance Reading Challenge, a past favorite. It is still a favorite. I gave it 5 stars this time. Finished this one on the 11th, which was also the day that the readathon for Around the World in 80 Days started. I think that's when it started. Anyway, so I finished this one, still loved it, and enjoyed it. It also fit the prompts, a free space, and reread an old favorite on ringing the new books. I read Black Cake, and I had so many wonderful feelings about this book. This was such a 5-star. This book was a new author and someone whose debut novel released here in the last year. This book touched me so much. It's about a woman who passes away, and she leaves a message to her children explaining everything about her past. And this book was incredible. And you can check out my vlog on my feelings about it and just my thoughts on it. But yes, this was a wonderful read. 5 stars. Wonderful. I finished Great Expectations. This is about Pip. And Pip is an orphan. He's being raised by his sister and her husband. And Great Expectations is written by Charles Dickens. And he comes into some great expectations, and he has a benefactor who he believes is one person, but he has to find that out. So 5 stars. Finished this one on the 17th, and he moves away from his sister and starts being tutored by a gentleman, and so then things happen, and it's just a great read. I read this in high school when I was in the 9th grade, and enjoyed it then. Enjoyed it so much more now. I finished Great Expectations. Also was my England book for Around the World in 80 Days. Then I finished All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I guess is how you say the name. And this is my France book for Around the World in 80 Days. This is about Marie-Laure, and she lives with her father, who works at the Museum of Natural History, and they have to leave, and they go to her great uncle's, and then she meets an orphan who is in Hitler's army. His name is Werner. And so this was a great book. Hey, get out of the camera. Get out of the camera. Smitty. Get out of the camera. Are you a camera hog now? Anyway, I gave this book, I gave it 4 stars, but it was only because there were some things in it that I got upset about, but it was things that I'm sure happened during that time, you know, and so it wouldn't be a true to time period novel if those things weren't in it. So anyway, still a great book, worth the read. You're knocking my books over. You're all up on me. Okay, and then I finished my Bible study, which was Genesis Foundations of Grace. Finished this on the 26th, and this went for my Ring in the New Books. Participate in the Buddy Read. This was a great Bible study. I enjoyed it. Look forward to it. I did do a few days, a couple days. I did 2 days, and got done with it a little bit earlier, but really, really enjoyed it. I have so many highlights. I am not talking to you. I'm talking to that camera. There's so many. He's not going to let you see. There's so many highlights in here of wonderful things that the author said, and just enjoyed this immensely. If I was going to rate it, I would rate it 5 stars. I think I did rate it on Goodreads 5 stars. All right, then I had to read a What's Old is New Again, a book that was popular 30 years ago. So on the 28th, I finished Phantoms by Dean Koontz. This book was kind of scary. It put me in mind of demons and the devil. And that's pretty much what I thought they were fighting, because that's just lay down. What they were fighting. I did give it 5 stars. I did love the writing. He's just an exceptional writer, and I enjoyed it. But it was scary. So if you're not into that kind of book, don't read it. It starts with this woman. She goes and gets her little sister because their mom has died, and she's going to bring her sister back home to live with her, and she's going to raise her. Her sister, I think, is 14, and she's a doctor. The older sister is, obviously. And they get back to town, and it's quiet. There's nobody out. There's nobody around. And so it proceeds from there. Great book. If you like Dean Koontz and you know his writing. And the last book that I finished fulfilled my Italy prompt. I read Romeo and Juliet. And you're just all up in this video today. Just sit down, buddy. Alright. So, everybody should know what Romeo and Juliet is about. I gave it 4 stars because even though you know how it ends, it's still sad. And you really want a better outcome. So, 4 stars. I had never read Romeo and Juliet. I know, shocker, right? Thought everybody read it in high school. We didn't read it in high school when I was in high school. But, I mean, I knew the story. But anyway, that's it. That's all my books for this month, this past month, for January. And thank you so much for being here. And if you stuck around, please give me a book stack emoji or a smiley face, or let me know what you in the comments what you've read in January. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.